When the world is in crisis and people are looking for hope and answers, Thai PBS World is there with you with the best minds of the day. Join us on Thai PBS World tonight, every weekdays at 7 p.m. Thai PBS World, we bring Thailand to the world.
สวัสดีค่ะ Very good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight. I'm Nad Bunag.
I'm Tulip Nak Samphoplao, and tonight we will start with a big story around the world. It's not just in Thailand. When Twitter disclosed a list of accounts that actually they think link to what we call is I.O. or information operations. It's like a state-backed operation to release the information or to manipulate the conversation, that sort of thing. So this time is the 10th time that Twitter has done such thing, but this is the first time that Thailand is also on the list. So today Twitter announced that on their website that they have permanently suspended 1,594 accounts. These are from Iran, Saudi Arabia, Cuba, Russia, and Thailand. These accounts are associated with 5 networks for various violations of Twitter's manipulation policies. Twitter said that their investigation has uncovered a network of accounts partaking in information operations, or we like to call it I.O., that link to the Royal Thai Army. These accounts were engaging in amplifying pro-Royal Thai Army and pro-government content, as well as engaging in behavior targeting prominent political opposition figures. Twitter disclosing all 926 accounts in Thailand, and other countries on the list: 104 accounts from Iran, 33 from Saudi Arabia, 526 from Cuba, and 5 accounts from Russia. Twitter said that their goal with this disclosure is to continue to build public understanding around the ways in which state actors try to abuse and undermine open democratic conversation. So Twitter wants to hold the state power accountable and will continue to keep the archive updated so the public can access and analyze this network. So that means that any of you, if you have interest or any organization want to analyze information, you can just go on the archive. But from the Thailand side, the Royal Thai Army spokesperson, Lieutenant General Santipong Thampiya, said that to say that all these suspended accounts linked to the Royal Thai Army is an unfair conclusion. He said that these accounts are not from the Royal Thai Army official accounts and they cannot be identified. Lieutenant General Santipong said that the information that Twitter used to analyze on it got the quantity, the frequency, and the hashtags of the accounts, which anyone can do it freely. So he said that the Royal Thai Army has its PR Twitter account, which is @ArmyPR_news. So anyone has been following the account, he said, will realize that it's all constructive information. So come back to the Twitter. It first launched this archive of potential foreign information operators they spotted on Twitter in October 2018. The latest one they just published is the 10th time, which is the one that we are talking about now. But it is the first time Thailand becomes one of the listed countries. Twitter said that in the report that the reason they publish such information because they want to improve the public understanding of inauthentic influence campaigns, and they believe that they have a responsibility to protect the integrity of the public conversation. But anyway, if you believe your account has been included in error, so you can just log into your Twitter account and file a suspension appeal. They will review the case and will restore potentially compromised accounts or accounts that may have been included in error to the owner. So we have the information, the infographic to show you that Twitter has launched this archive of potential for information operation 10 times since 2018. The first time there were 4,383 accounts that got suspended from Russia and Iran. The second time, January 2019, over 4,700 accounts from Bangladesh, Russia, Iran, and multiple data sets from Venezuela. In June 2019, almost 5,000 accounts from Iran, Russia, Spain, and Venezuela. You're starting to see the repeat name of the country. August 2019, almost 1,000 accounts from China. September 2019, over 10,100 accounts from UAE, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Spain, Ecuador, and China. December 2019, almost 6,000 accounts from Saudi Arabia. March 2020, this year, 70 accounts from Ghana and Nigeria. April 2020, I think this is the biggest one. No, the one after that's the biggest one. April 2020, over 20,300 accounts from Serbia, Honduras, Egypt, Indonesia, and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia affiliated actors. The biggest one so far is the ninth time on June 2020. Over 32,200 accounts from China, Russia, and Turkey. And this time, the latest one, 2020 in October. Almost 1,600 accounts. And the most of them, over 900 accounts from Thailand.
We can see that there's a big surge in numbers from the first one up until the recent one, the 10th time, and Thailand is also included on the list. Surprisingly, some of them are linked to the Royal Thai Army as well.
I guess our government don't want to be off the bus, want to be in trend.
Right.
Want to be included in some kind of trend. The thing is, when you talk about IO, information operations, you would assume that most of them would try to blend in and be quiet and make sure that people don't realize that this is actually some kind of operation to manipulate conversation.
Right.
That you want to share some certain side of the story and you want to make it as you are just a bystander, general public that happen to really like that side of the story. And that's how it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be subtle. It's supposed to be quiet. It's not supposed to be loud. But I guess in Thailand, it's a bit loud.
And the Royal Thai Army actually said they are actually putting constructive information, which sort of contradicts with the Twitter report here.
Yes, because they try to deny that the account that Twitter announced that it's actually linked to the Royal Thai Army. It's not really linked to the Royal Thai Army.
Right. And moving on to another big story for today, one ranger has been killed by suspected insurgents in Pattani province, which is part of the ongoing violence in the southernmost provinces of the country. A paramilitary ranger was killed while another ranger and an army trooper were injured in an ambush by suspected southern insurgents and the subsequent explosion in Saiburi district of Thailand's southern border province of Pattani this morning. It is reported that 3 rangers and an army trooper identified as Sergeant Watara Chaikeo were riding 2 motorcycles on routine patrol, providing protection to teachers. As they arrived at Ban Bang Thale Kau in Bang Kau sub-district, they came under automatic gunfire from suspected insurgents who were hiding in roadside bushes. Both Wachara and the ranger Sutichai Yatwa were shot, but all 4 returned fire and engaged in a brief firefight before the suspected insurgents retreated. Reinforcements were immediately dispatched to the scene to take the injured to the hospital as they combed the area to look for hidden bombs. Another ranger, identified as Atnorong Chaisi, stepped on a landmine, killing him instantly. The recent incident here is part of the ongoing conflict in the 3 southernmost provinces in Thailand, Pattani, Yatla, and Narathiwat. The conflict seriously escalated in 2004 during the Thaksin government when a heavily armed group of insurgents broke into an army unit in Narathiwat province and made off a huge cache of weapons. From there, violence in those provinces continued ever since. And according to the Deep South Watch database, there have been up to 20,000 incidents of violence from January 2004 until the end of September this year, with over 7,000 deaths being recorded. So we can see here that the southernmost provinces of Thailand, we're still seeing a lot of violence there. But if you look at the trend from 2004 up until 2020, 2004, there are a lot of violent incidents, but we can see that the trend is going down a bit, but it's still there.
It's still there. And if you look at the incident closely, some of the village in the south, they don't have any Buddhists left anymore.
Right.
And it become a very small news article in the Thai media. I don't know why it become a small news article, but they try to kill off the opposite side for some reason. And hopefully the government will come up with some solution to make situation better.
Right.
Now move on to the next news. It has been raining really hard in many parts of the country and also at KhaoYai National Park. And because it was raining so hard, trees topple and roads closed, so the national park have to be closed for at least 2 days because of the road access to the mountainous park became blocked by the fallen trees and mudslides. Major Narin Pinsakul, chief of the KhaoYai National Park, told Thai PBS this morning that heavy rain over the past 2 days, induced by a strong low pressure cell, has swollen the Lamtakong River, inundating the tourist service center and causing the mudslides. He said that several large trees have been uprooted and have fallen onto the roads from the Neun Hom and Pak Chong sides, making them impassable to all vehicles. He also revealed that officials are trying to clear the obstructions, which may take as long as 3 days. The park's chief said that KhaoYai has never experienced so much rain, causing so much havoc, including the collapse of 6 or 7 utility poles. And he said the park rangers have been on 24-hour alert at Hale Suwat waterfall to prevent elephants from falling into the steep waterfall. And the government spokesperson, Anusha Burapachai-Sim, said today that the Prime Minister has instructed the military, inter-ministry and public disaster prevention and mitigation agencies to be prepared to rush help people at the scenes of flash flooding. He said that the Prime Minister also advised people to stay updated on the weather forecast. Talking about weather forecast, the Meteorological Department today issued its 13th announcement on the strong low pressure cell, which is moving across the southern region toward the Andaman Sea, as it forecasts heavy rain and isolated very heavy rain in the southern, central, eastern, and lower northeastern regions. Hard-hit provinces today are Nakhon Ratchasima, Buriram, Surin, and Srisaket in the northeast. The entire central region, the eastern provinces of Nakhon Nayok, Prachinburi, Chachengsaw, Sakeo, Chonburi, Rayong, Chantaburi, and Trat, and the southern provinces of Phetchaburi, Prajop Khirikan, Rayong, Phang-nga, Krabi, Satun, and Phuket. I can just say it will rain everywhere.
Yeah, and we can feel this in Bangkok as well. It's been raining all day and it really affected the traffic this morning.
Oh, yes.
Were you stuck in traffic this morning?
I think everybody's stuck in traffic this morning.
Right, and this is definitely not something you want to encounter every day. It's not just the traffic, but if there's heavy rain and traffic, it's definitely a disaster for everyone.
We definitely need rain, but we need rain at the right place and at the right time of the year.
Definitely.
It's like somewhere they need rain for the farm, for the plantations at the right time of the year, But I'm not sure about Bangkok.
Right. And after we've been hearing news that Thailand will welcome its first batch of foreign tourists this month, it seems like the plan has been put on hold. According to a news article by Reuters, Thailand is pushing back plans to receive its first batch of foreign tourists due to administrative issues, adding to uncertainty about when the country will welcome back visitors, which has been vital to its economy. Foreign arrivals stopped in April after the government banned commercial flights to prevent the spread of COVID-19. In September, the Tourism Authority of Thailand said 120 tourists on special long-stay visas would fly directly from Guangzhou to the resort island of Phuket this week, but their travel has been delayed. Chinese media has questioned the identity of those tourists, however, with reports unable to confirm any Thailand travel bookings among agents in Guangzhou. On the other side, operators in Phuket are also confused with the situation. The president of the Phuket Tourism Association, Phumkit Raktangam, revealed that they have not been notified about the arrivals. He said that Phuket is ready to welcome foreign tourists, but clarity is needed on where these tourists are coming from, how many of them, and where will they stay. He added that more information on this would help create confidence among the local community. Last month, Thai authorities announced that a limited number of long-stay visitors would be allowed from low-risk countries, and their trips must include 2 weeks of quarantine at their resort. So far, Thailand has just over 3,600 confirmed cases, which is among the lowest in Asia, but its economy could contract by a record 7.8%. The Thai government predicts that the country could see only 6.7 million foreign visitors this year after a record 39.8 million in 2019. And previously, authorities shelved a travel bubble plan to allow movement of travelers between countries with low infection rates. So I think we're not going to see a travel bubble or any group of tourists coming at this time.
Yeah, but they will come some way or another because they already prepared the scheme, the plan, and the Thai government said that if it works, let's say we start in Phuket, right?
Right.
And if it works well, they will expand it to other provinces as well. So this is more like a trial run. Let's see whether it's work. But I think it costs a lot. Like we show you in the report a couple of days ago at the census resort in Phuket, the owner said himself that it costs more for them to run the operation, but it helped their employees to have work. And the salesperson at the hotel said it also helped the local to have something to do. Otherwise, Phuket becomes super quiet because
Definitely.
they depend on tourism.
And there are some reports saying that Phuket has become stranded because there are no tourists at all. And many of these cities, not just Phuket, but many other cities in Thailand are reliant on tourism. And because of the COVID-19, everything has stopped. And it's definitely big hopes for all of these places if they can welcome travelers so that they can boost the local tourism as well as the economy in the long run as well.
But I think it is a very, very complicated procedure to make sure that even though we will welcome tourists, these first 14 days have to be very
strict?
Very strict, and everything have to be in detail. And after 14 days, we have to keep them on track because some people, they test positive after the 14 days. It happens.
Definitely, and we've been hearing cases like this, and that definitely scared the public. And if there's a resurgence of COVID-19, people would say the travel bubble or any sort of scheme would not work.
Right.
Okay. And just so you know, these are the stories we've also been following.
Thailand recorded 6 new cases of COVID-19 today who returned from Nepal, Norway, the United States, and Myanmar. All of them are now under state quarantine. The new cases brought the total number of infections to 3,628, with 2 new recoveries and no new fatalities. A helicopter carrying a medical team of Her Royal Highness Princess Dulapon crash-landed near the Sirikit Dam in Uttaradit province on Thursday night. Initial reports from the 3rd Army region said the 2 pilots were injured and have already been sent to a hospital in the province, while others on board are safe. The Royal Thai Navy's chopper was on its way back to the Sirikit Dam from Kamphaeng Phet province with 10 people on board, including 2 pilots, 2 mechanics, and 6 members of the princess's medical team who were treating people during her visit to upcountry provinces.
The Labor Ministry is warning migrant workers from Laos, Myanmar, and Cambodia to have their work permits renewed before October 31st, or else they may face stiff punishment and be immediately deported back to their countries. Migrants who fail to apply for the renewal in time may face a fine of up to 50,000 baht and deportation, while an employer hiring an illegal migrant worker may face a fine of up to 100,000 baht per illegal migrant worker hired. And that wraps up tonight's edition of Thai PBS World Tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend and we'll see you on Monday. สวัสดี
สวัสดี
ค่ะ
ค่ะ